Straight ahead on CCX News, the Brooklyn Park City Council weighs in on a possible pool. We look at next steps and how much it could cost. Plus, an unusual theft that impacts reservations at a Robbinsdale restaurant. But first, the local response to the opioid crisis moves to the state capitol. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. Fighting opioid abuse continues to be a hot topic.
Today was Opioid Awareness Day on the Hill in St. Paul. Eric Nelson joins us now with more.
Yeah, Shannon and Mike, many people are demanding action and new laws to combat the devastation caused by opioid addiction. Today, 3 politicians, including Brooklyn Senator Chris Eaton, pitched their bill to fight the opioid crisis.
When I heard about this bill that is actually going to pull money from the people who have made all the money, I was overjoyed.
On a postcard-like day in St. Paul, the drumbeat against opioid abuse grew louder inside the state capitol.
It's in everybody's neighborhood, the rich, the poor.
The Opioid Family Recovery Act would make the multi-billion-dollar pharmaceutical industry pay, literally.
We want the manufacturers to pay for it. They're the ones that pushed this and spent the money to get doctors to prescribe it.
Chris Eaton is on a personal crusade against opioid abuse. She lost her 23-year-old daughter in 2007 because of an overdose.
I don't want anybody else, families, to go through what my family went through.
Besides the human toll in this epidemic, there is a financial one.
Just to stay in our ICU on my floor for one night, $12,000 a day just for the bed.
Turner is a nurse at North Memorial Hospital in Robbinsdale and sees the havoc caused by opioids on a daily basis.
They drive up to the ED, the nurses rush out, give the Narcan. They're coming in carloads. What's wrong with that picture?
They start on pharmaceutical meds. They start on legal heroin. That's what these pills are. They're molecularly the same as heroin.
Eaton believes today was a positive step in this opioid battle, but knows the clock is ticking.
If we don't pass it this year, I'm really concerned about if we ever will.
Now, according to Senator Eaton, pharmaceutical companies paid over $300 million to politicians pushing their agenda. She says getting a few cents for every prescription pain pill that comes into Minnesota would raise $20 million to fight the crisis. Shannon and Mike.
All right, Eric, thank you. Hennepin County Sheriff Rich STANEK says the county has reached a milestone in the fight against opioid and heroin overdoses.
And now, for the first time, I'm pleased to announce that the first responders in all 45 cities of Hennepin County are trained and equipped with naloxone.
Naloxone is the drug to counteract opioid and heroin overdoses, and getting it to all first responders in the county has taken more than 3 years because of training and expense. The sheriff says a grant from the Steve Rumler Hope Foundation helped expand the use of the drug. And police chiefs from several cities, including Maple Grove, Plymouth, and Brooklyn Center, received awards for their work in responding to the opioid crisis. Brooklyn Center police have carried the drug since 2015 and last year used it 22 times.
I never fathomed that we'd have 22 saves in 1 year. I thought year to date, maybe in the course of 4 or 5 years, we might have 10 saves, but obviously our officers are always the first on scene. They're able to see these types of overdoses and see the after effects of it, and they administer Narcan on a very regular basis.
Police say without the availability of the drug, there would be more deaths. Chief Mike Goldstein of Plymouth says more needs to be done outside of public safety to fight the epidemic. There were 162 opioid-related deaths in Hennepin County last year, a number that's expected to rise as more toxicology reports come in.
In Robbinsdale, a popular restaurant is dealing with a petty but irritating theft. Someone stole a computer used for recording reservations at Nona Rosa's restaurant. It only took seconds to grab it and take it out the door as the restaurant was closing on Saturday. But for a small business, it's a headache, and the owner wonders who would do that.
You feel victimized no matter how big or how small the theft is that occurred. It's a violation. You know, somebody entered your space, and it's, you know, it's the space we love. It's like our home here. So for us to feel that someone just walked in, helped themselves, you know, that's definitely, you know, you feel it in the heart.
Tina Sulia says they'll be locking up tighter after this, and she's working to get a new reservation system in place. Police told her it's probably being sold on a website for quick cash.
Brooklyn Park City Council is expected to vote Monday on whether to approve a $54,000 study for a possible aquatic facility. A survey of residents indicated a preference for some sort of aquatic facility, such as the one that you see here in Brooklyn Center. However, the survey didn't attach any dollar figures to what it could cost. Some council members say the city can't afford a pool unless it gets a corporate partner.
Until we produce a partner, I think going forward and spending $54,000 plus is a waste of money.
I want to move forward. I want a pool. I've wanted it since the first day I was on the council. I campaigned on when the first time I ran.
I'm not necessarily just interested in us getting in the business of doing what everybody else is doing, which is having a family aquatic facility, you know, go to Brooklyn Center, go to Maple Grove. You know, I'm interested in Brooklyn Park doing something a little different.
One early cost estimate is $18 to $20 million if it's attached to the Community Activity Center. The city is also contemplating a costlier standalone facility that could include a pool for competitive swim meets. Maple Grove residents will get to voice their opinions on the future of their park and recreation facilities.
An open house will be held tonight, Thursday, at the Maple Grove Community Center. The city recently did a needs assessment on all of its park facilities. They looked at parks, trails, baseball fields, and more. Based on those findings, city officials came up with a wide-ranging list of items to improve.
What they provide to the community as far as level of service. Do we need more meeting rooms out in the public? Do we need more restroom facilities, things like that?
Maple Grove is also studying the community center to see if the facility is still meeting resident needs. Still ahead, how Park Brook Elementary teachers give their students a brain boost. That's next in School Spotlight.
Plus, Wayzata's bid for a Section Boys Hockey Championship doesn't go as planned. That's later in sports.
But first, March comes in like a lamb. It's set to be even warmer Friday with highs in the 40s.
Park Brook Elementary in Brooklyn Park has unique classes and programs that are not offered at other elementary schools in the Osseo district.
Reporter Sonia Goins has today's School Spotlight.
Fitness is the core foundation of everything they do at Park Brook Elementary in Brooklyn Park. Every morning starts with a so-called brain boost. Students move their legs and arms to get ready to flex their brain power.
I think the research is so clear that if you increase fitness, you increase academic growth.
Classrooms are designed to help students work their core muscles. A few years ago, stability balls were added.
If you're using your core muscles, if you're sitting on a stability ball or a hokey stool, which is a stool that wobbles, there's about a 10% increase in brain activity. So we do things such as a fun run at the University of Minnesota.
Students also participate in various fitness activities around the metro. In January, they strapped on skis for the mini low pit. They held a few practice runs at school first. Principal Scott Taylor says the fitness initiative has cut down on bad behavior in the classroom.
And so it changes the whole dynamic.
And students are more focused on learning.
We have had several years where we've had no suspensions, but yet we still have very positive behaviors here. And there's a correlation between getting the kids up and moving and enjoying school and our suspension rate. And we also do some work with the YMCA.
He credits fitness with helping to raise standardized test scores.
Swimming.
In some areas, the school had some of the top growth in the Osseo School District.
Black students had the second highest percentage of students meeting or exceeding their goals in math in the entire district.
Unique opportunities keep the young scholars interested in learning.
Every student that's at the building gets to do something.
Park Brook is the only elementary school
Nice job.
with woodworking as part of its curriculum.
We pound a bunch of nails in and then we use rubber bands.
Paul Strand initiated the program.
They've sanded it out.
He's a retired school teacher who started in the district in the early 60s.
There you go.
He loved his job so much, he came back to share his skills of woodworking.
It's an incentive. They know it's part of the history of this building, and they don't want to mess that history up.
Everyone gets to participate, preschoolers, boys and girls.
It's fun, and you get to participate in a lot of things. I like that you can make cool stuff out of it. I like woodworking because it's an experience that you could use in your future.
The children are crafty.
I've made a leaf, a bookshelf, a toolbox, and a dice game.
Park Brook is also the only elementary school in the district with a traveling Double Dutch team.
And they travel to other schools to kick off the Jump Rope for Heart fundraising campaign for the American Heart Association.
She's really active, and that's one thing I love.
Parent Vivian Wood says she's seen a positive change in her children since they started attending the school last year.
At Park Brook, she's phenomenal. Total different kid. She's happy. She loves her classmates. She gets along with them.
Students are truly just enjoying coming to school and having fun during the school day.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Park Brook also offers field trips on the weekend for students, and this weekend, students are going to the ski festival at Worth Park. Still ahead, for Arts and Academics Expo, there's one coming up at a local elementary school, and we will show you some creative work there.
But first, 3 Osseo wrestlers are set for the state tournament after battling through injuries and illness. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The Wayzata boys hockey team eliminated Edina in the past 2 Section 6AA tournaments. The Hornets came for revenge Wednesday night. Trojans looking to win their 3rd straight section title, but Edina quickly grabs control. Already up 1-0, Ben Brinkman hits the net with a shot from the point. It's a power play goal, and it's 2-0 Hornets. Later in the first, Bjorn Swanson shoots on a 3-on-1 rush, and Max Borst puts the rebound away. Another look as Edina continues to get good chances all game. 3-0 Edina after 1. Early in the second, they strike again. Jet Jungles to Mason Nevers on the 2-on-1 to make it 4-0 Hornets just 40 seconds into the period. Wayzata does get on the board as Colin Schmidt circles out high and buries the long wrist shot, but Edina dominates this one. They roll over the Trojans 8-1 to advance to state. The state wrestling tournament is underway with team competition taking center stage Thursday. Totino-Grace is in the Class 2A tournament. The Eagles drew top seed and 2-time defending state champion Casson Manterville in the quarterfinals and lost 54-13. That put Grace into the consolation semifinals against Foley, where they lost 45-25. We'll have highlights of that consolation match Monday in our Sports Jam show here on CCX. The individual portion of the state high school wrestling tournament is Friday and Saturday. 3 Osseo wrestlers qualified as runners-up from Section 5-3A. Jay Wilcox has more on their inspiring stories.
Qualifying for the state tournament is impressive enough. Considering what the 3 Osseo entrants went through, it's amazing. Start with senior 170-pounder Adam Lanners, who was waylaid by a long bout with mono from late last season all the way until the start of football.
So the mono kind of lasted through the summer, and before football I started feeling good enough. I started relaxing, kind of catching myself up with just sleep and everything, relaxing, and then football kind of came around and turned it up for football, and playing in the football games and practices I felt good. So.
Junior 182-pounder Taylor Meisner tore the patellar tendon in his knee at the end of the football season playing for Providence Academy, and finally got onto the mat at the end of the regular season and quickly got in good enough shape to qualify for state.
This season, I mean, it was definitely my goal. That's what I told my surgeon, and he made a surgery for me that kind of like he did a different surgery for me that helped me get back on the mat as soon as possible. Yeah, just going to Lifetime a lot, getting a lot of that extra work in after practice, and in the mornings I'd go and lift and run at Providence, and just do a lot of stuff with my coach, football coach at Providence, and then a lot of stuff with coach here.
And freshman 220-pounder Jagger Shack might have had it tougher than both. Shack had a staph infection in his hip that affected his spine and put quite a scare into his family.
Yeah, at first I didn't know what was going on. I went into the doctors and they took an x-ray. They couldn't find anything. And then they scheduled an MRI a week later. So I went and did that, and then they said 3 hours later after my MRI, they said I had to go to the hospital. It was pretty scary because, well, for a week, the week that I was at home before my MRI, I couldn't eat, I could barely move. I needed help up out of bed. I went into the hospital for a week. And then I got out, took another week, and then my doctor took me off the medicine a little early. And then I ended up getting it back again, and then I had to go in the hospital for another week.
Lanners, Meisner, Shack, 3 pretty tough Orioles will take the mat for the state tournament. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Meisner attends Maranatha Christian Academy, which co-ops with Osseo for wrestling and with Providence for football. Jagger Shack says he was motivated to reach the state tournament by his dad, a state place winner at Minneapolis Edison, telling him, "You can be better than I was." Well, the section girls basketball playoffs tipped off for many local schools Wednesday night. Champlin Park is the #2 seed in Section 5-4A. The Rebels hosted 7th seed Spring Lake Park. First half, Amanda Pollard inbounds to Gabby Mackey. She nails a 3 from the corner for the Rebels. Pollard gets a steal and shovels the ball to Erica Hicks for the breakaway bucket as the Rebels build a 19-0 lead. Hicks scores 21 in the game. Megan Muniche hits back-to-back three-pointers for Champlin Park. They take a 25-2 lead. Rebels breeze to an 83-30 win. They'll face Roseville in the semifinals Saturday afternoon at Anoka High School. Park Center is the two-time defending Section 5 champion. The Pirates are the #4 seed this season. They got a test from Mounds View. The 1-point Mustangs lead at halftime, but Park Center starts to hum in the second half. Kayla Cox gets the steal and sends Megan Dubois on the break, and she scores here for PC. Adalia McKenzie drives hard and hits the shot plus a foul. Free throw gives the Pirates a 4-point lead. Summer Blakemore drives baseline and hits as Park Center goes up by 11. She scores 27 points in the game. Mounds View rallies late, but the Pirates win 71-65. They'll face top seed Centennial in the semifinals Saturday at 1 o'clock at Anoka. In Section 6-4A, the top 2 seeds, Hopkins and Wayzata, both won handily in the quarterfinals. They'll play their semifinal game Saturday afternoon at Minneapolis Roosevelt. Tonight, Thursday, Maple Grove and Breck skate for section titles in boys hockey. We'll have highlights from those 2 games Friday, starting at 4 here on CCX News. Shannon and Mike, back to you.
All right, thanks, Sean. Up next, Brooklyn Park students flex their artistic muscles.
See what they came up with when we come back. Finally, a group of Brooklyn Park students showcased their skills and talents outside of the classroom.
Oxbow Creek Elementary hosted its annual Arts and Academic Expo today. The event is in its 18th year and gives students a chance to create projects or works of art to share with the rest of the school community. The projects had to be created exclusively for the expo and completed outside of the regular school day.
It allows the kids to express themselves in ways that they otherwise don't get to. Some of the artists that we never would have known that they're an artist. They're playing piano, they're singing a song, they're performing gymnastics. We even had a kindergartner who is a stand-up comedian. I mean, I'll never forget that. It's just hilarious.
That was great. We need to hear from him. The students also have their work critiqued by a group of judges ranging from police officers, local business leaders, and politicians. Very good.
A lot of talent, yeah.
Definitely. That's all the time we have for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
And we'll see you back here again Friday, starting at 4.